Ready for the sports talk? All right, I put this up as a poll. I got there's only 600 votes. Grant, you say you always take the poll, so maybe you took this one. Last time I said, I don't know if you took the poll, and you said, don't insult me and say I might not take your poll.
I always take polls, Paul. Paul's poll.
The way I phrased it was now with a 2-5 record, would you rather the Packers lose as many games as possible and have a top 5 pick, or go 5-5 the rest of the way to finish 7-10, but still miss the playoffs and probably have the 11th pick? 72% said lose lots, get a top 5 pick. You would be fine with the Packers? And by the way, losing every game, they might do anyway, right? And I think at this point, the playoffs are unlikely, and even, I would argue, maybe not even the ideal outcome. This team needs an influx of new young talent. So I have 2 questions related to this, but the first one is, as a Packers fan who's going to sit there and watch these next 10 games regardless, you'd be good with the outcome of the Packers losing a bunch of games and getting one of those top 3, top 5 picks. That would be the better outcome for you than missing the playoffs anyway, but maybe going 500 the rest of the way. So lose as many games as possible, get a top pick is the best outcome from here on out. Or Bart.
Well, I don't want to lose. Because if we lose, then so
this is a casual take.
No, it's the same thing with the Bears. The Bears should not they're done with Fields. They're not playing him this week. Okay, they should they're gonna have 2 very high picks. You should know that your quarterback's set so that you can draft other dudes. If we draft super high, that means Love's ass, and we're taking a quarterback again.
Well, but Love hasn't been ass, and they still are in line for a top 5 pick.
But even if we're top 3, we're taking a quarterback.
Correct. I agree.
I know there's gonna be people listening say, no, Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, but this is one of those drafts with a couple quarterbacks at the top, and I'm not a college football guy. But having read the scouting stuff, it's you would have to. And you wouldn't, and by the way, you wouldn't be dumping on Love for drafting Maye or Williams. You would just be it wouldn't.
But they were bringing another young quarterback in here with another shit team. It's not like the team's going to be, they're going to be even younger because they're going to be more draft picks.
This is year 1 of not a 1-year rebuild. This is year 1 of a 3, if we're
5 to 8 years, as Joe would say.
I was going to say, someone shout out Radio Joe.
No, but this is probably year 1 of 3. If they do it right, if they do a good job, this is year 1 of 3. If they do a bad job,
the earliest the Packers will contend for a Super Bowl is probably 2025.
If things go perfectly.
Yeah. Now, here's something that I enjoy saying on the radio is that I like to look at the NFC. And I include the NFC South as a whole in here. But I say, listen to these teams. Ready? Commanders, Giants, Rams, Packers, Bears, Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers, Vikings.
Somebody's making the playoffs.
2 of those teams are making the playoffs. 2 of them. And one of them is going to host a game from the NFC South. There's going to be some shit teams in this NFC. And it is still, my other fun fact is everyone in the AFC has at least 3 wins, except for New England. Wow.
Oh, I was all about those 2. When the Broncos beat the Chiefs, I was all about that. Get these 2-win teams more wins so the Packers' 2 wins can look better.
This is where maybe this is just a fundamental difference. And I think a lot of it is me realizing that, yes, the playoff losses have been bad. And I agree. People that that's a level of hell that we know that a lot of teams don't.
True. And don't lose that take. Do never back off of that.
I will never.
Yes.
But we have been spoiled. We're regular season games have been boring because we know we're going to win.
We've been spoiled where now we have a bad month and we want everyone fired because there needs to be accountability. like, Jesus
I don't think
Christ.
there needs to be accountability. I've never been that guy. I guess what you're
Not saying
saying.
you. Not
No, I
saying
know. I like accountability. Okay. No, you fire him because he sucks.
Yeah.
But I just can't. I can't be watching this team in October, November, early. Like I'm going to a game in 2 weeks. I'm going to spend all this money and root for them to lose. So they have a better draft pick.
I think there's a difference though between rooting for them to lose and
or like watch them and root for them to win, and then when they lose, I'm like, I'm happy at either outcome. I can't do that.
I would watch it as like, all right, good play by Jordan Love, good progress by Dontavian Wicks. All right, Lucas Van Ness is getting more snaps and he's being more productive with those snaps. I am going to look at it as individual pieces that I want to play well and to see improvements from, while realizing that the best outcome for this franchise, if you want 2025 to be a competing for the Super Bowl realistic contender year, they need to suck. No, they need to lose.
If you want Packer Nation, if you want Packer Nation,
72% of the poll of 600 people agree with me, by the way, that lose as many games as possible. So continue.
So what your scenario is that Jordan Love shows progress and is good, and they also get a high pick.
Yeah.
Open the door.
Yes.
Where it's open this door.
Okay.
Where there's a top 3 pick next year because the Packers suck so much ass, and then they don't take a quarterback. Open that existence.
If the answer to that is that they take Marvin Harrison Jr., you will have plenty of ecstatic Packers fans.
No.
Now we're opening another door. We opened the first door into your world, and now there's a second door where Brian Gutekunst of the Green Bay Packers is drafting a wide receiver top 5. I'll tell you that room does not exist anywhere.
If in this door, Brian Gutekunst is A, making the pick at all, and B, takes an offensive lineman, now there will be held up. But if they take Marvin Harrison Jr., I disagree. People would be excited for that.
Well, of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They would not be like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" No, like Marvin Harrison Jr. is potentially generational.
But nobody is going to. If the Packers are bad enough, where they get a top 3 pick, no one's going to be able to rationally say like, "Well, they lost a lot of games, but Jordan Love is our future." No one will.
It's not possible. I don't think it works that way. The Bears tried to do that with Fields last year. If you are selecting in the top 3, I think it's impossible for you to say, unless your quarterback got hurt, we're good. If you're good, you wouldn't be picking in the top 3. Like that's just kind of if the Packers are in a position to take one of those quarterbacks, I think they have to. I think that's how this is going to work. I
agree. If let's say you are the 3rd pick and it was Caleb Williams and then Marvin Harrison Jr., like you run the card in for Drake May. And I would argue, and I will argue it in April if this happens, I hope it does happen, kind of, that's not an indictment on Jordan Love. I still think they would get trade value for Jordan Love. Like I'm talking like a 4th, in this scenario. No, like he can have a perfectly fine season and they can still suck. That's what's happening now. Jordan Love is having a perfectly fine average season and they suck. If the next 10 are like the first 7, that's what we're talking about. Right? Like what part of what I just said is incorrect? He's playing fine. They're playing terrible and losing. Like,
the way that Love is, like the results of Love are, it's still so inconclusive because of how shitty the team is.
Right.
And if this is Jordan Love, then I can't definitively answer if he's good or not because I still haven't he hasn't had the opportunity. So then you do take a quarterback.
Yes. I would be fine with, as a guy who thinks that
there's no way that Jordan Love, you're trying to thread a needle here. There's no way that Jordan Love is the guy and you get a top 3 pick. It is not going to happen.
Well, the guy as in a top 10 quarterback, the guy going back to the Ryan Wood, the guy, or do you just mean like serviceable enough that if the rest of your team is good, you can be the 49ers?
Yeah, but if you have an opportunity to take a really, really great quarterback and reset that rookie contract,
you should.
That's yes.
I'm saying I would I would do that, and B, I would not call that an indictment on Love.
Sure.
But
I know
the
that's the
only way you get
needle
there is if Love sucks.
He doesn't though, and that's not gonna change.
We don't know that. I don't think he does, but we don't know that.
But he hasn't. So you're saying he would have to regress?
I think he is regressing this year. He's not terrible, but he's not awesome. He's fine, and I'm not passing up a great quarterback prospect and a reset of the rookie scale for fine. Especially
speaking of,
we agree on this. I feel like I'm being like, and I know I'm in a group here that's not anti-Jordan Love.
No.
And it sounds like among the three of us who are not anti-Jordan Love that I'm almost saying like, no, he's great. Like, no, I'm not. I would also take the quarterback. So rather than talking further circles, we agree on that part. You would take, if you had Maye Williams on the board and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the board, you take the quarterback.
I would like to, if anyone
for the
has
reasons
any
you stated.
Final takes on this topic, I would like to bring something up.
Yes.
Any final takes on this topic?
Well, this is what I told the caller yesterday. Just Packers fans, kick back, relax, sit back and watch. And this season is going to tell us how to proceed, I think. Like if we end up in the top 3 in the draft, that means we should take a quarterback. And if not, that means that Jordan Love and these young wide receivers probably put some things together and won some games. Like this season is going to tell us what the future looks like, I think. So just kick back and chill because we can just wait. I think all will be revealed in time. My
parting comment is Bart, my buddy who runs our Dynasty League. I was messaging with him and some other guys about this. And he had said something. He said in a text, people who don't realize the value of top picks are insane. The way you frame that question, for anyone to choose 7 and 10 and miss the playoffs is a lunatic. That's how I feel about it. But yet 28% would say, and here's what I retorted to that. I said, people will say something to the effect of, well, momentum to end the season. And then I also said, Bart, I think this one speaks to you. I said, I think it speaks to people who live in the moment and just want to watch a Packers win on a Sunday afternoon without worrying about the bigger picture implications. You don't want to invest 3 hours and be like, oh, this is, like that's the wrong way to do it. Because again, if you want them to be competing for a Super Bowl sooner than later, you should want a top 3 pick, a top 5 pick. That's
all I care about is figuring out if Jordan Love is good or not. I don't care about anything else.
The best route to Super Bowl contendership is to lose badly this season.
Jesus.
I'm not a cheer against my own team guy.
Don't cheer against them. There's a difference there.
I don't think there is.
The best, yes, there is.
I think you're labeling this to make yourself.
Paul wants to have those little Packer pennants and watch the game and be all happy, and then when they lose, you can't.
No,
no.
Hold on though. When we were texting, I was of course on DVR in the game on Sunday, and I listed to you guys all of like the first quarter ineptitudes and mistakes and everything. And Bart, you texted back, "It gets better." You then later responded, "JK, it doesn't." But when I read "it gets better," I took that as it's going to become a further shit show. Like it gets better, like it gets more comedic.
You're demented. You're demented.
Terrible.
I'm just telling you what I thought you meant was like
you need to stop.
Better. Just you wait to see what ridiculous, horrible, terrible place.
This look. I can't. You gotta adjust your entire outlook on life needs to change because you keep waiting for. You gotta live for the now, Paul.
No, you don't.
You don't. Tomorrow's not guaranteed.
I agree with that.
Tonight's not guaranteed.
But you should be planning for your future health when you're 65.
It's not a guarantee that I finish this
finances
episode.
when you're 65. You have to have one foot in now, and you have to have one foot in the future.
I'm not telling you how to fan. I would never. But also, come on, a little bit.
How am I the outlier here?
How do you watch a team in 2023 and care more about 2026?
I spent my whole life watching the Bucks, loving the Bucks, hoping against hope that they would just pick a fucking direction and either and stop doing the Herb Cole 8th seed stuff. And they wouldn't and couldn't until they got the luckiest pick in the history of the NBA. And that's probably a literal fact. Maybe Jokic is the other alternative to that as the 46th pick. But they were always picking in the teens, and you can never do that. So I'm perfectly
Giannis
fine.
was the 15th pick.
There's talent everywhere, Paul.
That's what I'm saying. Everywhere. You can get extremely, extremely lucky by getting a pick in the teens that becomes one of the best players ever, and you can do that in any sport. My point is, it's unlikely. So I can sit there and I can watch and I can say, oh, I really like this TJ Ford for Charlie Villanueva trade. In the grand scheme of things, does it like change their path? No, but I can root for like the moves on the periphery until the time comes that there's a championship team. So I can root for the young players to get better. And when they lose, say, I'm really pleased by the progress of Lucas Van Ness.
I rooted for that Bucks team to be so bad so they could get a top 3 pick. They got Jabari Parker. That didn't work out. I don't think anybody could be. But I will never root for draft position again. It's just not.
Oh, okay.
It's not. I don't have the makeup to do it.
Fair enough. That's fine.
I cannot do it, which is why you see in these fantasy leagues I'm in.
Yep, you're always in.
I'm in. I'm not fucking trading for 2026 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Well, for example, I'm in an NBA Dynasty league. I have LaMelo Ball, Cade Cunningham, and Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm fucking awful. And I'm going to continue to be awful until I trade all of them for actual good players. I've been in this league for 4 years. I started out with the number 1 pick when I bought in, and I've been just as bad every year.
Yeah, because you're like thinking they're going to improve, but then the league's also still going to have Kevin Durant and Giannis. It's like these guys are going to get better, but the best players in the world are still going to be the best players in the world.
No, that's so incorrect. Kevin Durant
is not incorrect.
Bart, for example, made a great trade last year in Dynasty, just to continue the example, of a first-round pick for Travis Kelce, which I thought he overpaid. I was wrong. It was a terrific,
first-round pick, so what? I can take fucking
Sky Moore.
Yeah, Tajay Spears.
Ooh, love that. He's my guy.
Oh, would you ever have Tajay Spears over Travis Kelce?
Spears was a 3rd-round pick. Okay, not a.
Would you have Jahmyr Gibbs over Kelce?
Fuck yes.
No.
Yes, it depends where your team is at. Where your team is at, no, you wouldn't because you're competing.
Although Taylor needs to start going back to those games if I'm going to win a fucking championship.
Yeah, because you have Mahomes.
I'd like to go complete opposite direction with Taylor Swift, who I'm not really that big of a fan of. I hope she comes to Lambeau. That would be very cool. I'm hoping for that to happen when they play the Chiefs, by the way. Everyone's so bad. Oh, you're just so sick of seeing her. So am I, but not because she's at NFL games. I hope she comes to Lambeau. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways.
It's an NFL destination. How would she not?
It's a cathedral of football.
Yeah, you can't be a football fan and not go to Lambeau.
Yeah, someone tell her.
Did you see she's a billionaire now?
Yeah. All right. I have to shit on a ex-Packer, which I will do in a minute. I also want to give this isn't just a shout out. This is a thanks for coming aboard. Tupelo Honey is a cafe in the 3rd Ward, downtown Milwaukee-ish, and they are now a proud sponsor of the Bart Winkler Show and the Winklerverse of itself. They are at the corner of, they're getting the full Bart Winkler experience because I got the talking points, and like a true radio pro, I have not read this yet because I want them to get the full experience. And I am planning on going there hopefully next week with my good buddy. I'm going to take him out to eat. He deserves it. Rami Makloff and I. Rami's a big fan of this place. I'm going to try to take Rami out for lunch.
Rami, big 3rd Ward guy, just generally speaking.
He's a Bayview guy first and foremost.
I was in Bayview this weekend. I love Bayview.
He's a big good food guy. And so this is a place that revives kind of the South and the traditions of the South when it comes to food. Fried green tomatoes, shrimp and grits, which very underrated food. I love grits. Homemade biscuits. The signature dish is the honey dusted fried chicken. Get a business lunch there, a dinner with the family. They've got a great brunch, maybe before you go to a game on the weekend down at the Forum. You can check them out. Reservations, make them online. TupeloHoneyCafe.com. TupeloHoneyCafe.com. 511 North Broadway, right across from the public market. So we will be there. If you're ever like, oh, where's Bart today? I just buzz by Tupelo Honey. Maybe you'll see me. Maybe you probably won't, but I'll be there enough. And you should too. All right. That is that. I read it I just read it. TupeloHoneyCafe.com. But no, I'm excited to go there next week with Rom Dog. And maybe they can do, because I got to do hurry ups. Maybe they can be part of a noon hour hurry up we could do, or a Sunday morning hurry up.
I learned something about Rami this week through his stand-up comedy.
I'm fucking excited for these grits.
He's dating a 28-year-old.
He loves that naivete.
Yeah, that clip was on Facebook. Is he paying Facebook? How do we all see that clip?
I saw it on the Insta. Oh, we all saw it on different platforms.
Wow, look at
Rami
that.
with the takeover.
But it was funny.
It was a good setup.
Yeah.
I was mostly indifferent on it until he landed the plane of that's why he likes dating. I sat here. I said, "You son of a bitch, Rami, you guy." I didn't expect to laugh at this, but
yeah, it was a. You had to wait it out. At first I was like, okay, yep, love is love.
Which our generation,
it is weird though. He's 43, she's 28.
How long has that relationship been going?
She was out in California with
him. So it is the same one then. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
It's because I always think of it as like my wife's years older than me, 4 years older than me. And that's even weird. Like when she graduated college, I graduated high school. But there's, but when he was 18, she was 3.
Yeah, but he's not 18 anymore. That's not that. I think that's unfair framing. Anytime we do this, that would be true if he was 18, but he's not. So I'll But I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I have no.
And also, Rami is at best like 28 in spirit.
Oh yeah, Rami's not
like at best, which is not an insult. Like he's just free.
I audibly gleed with joy.
Wow.
When I saw Devonte Adams throw his helmet into the turf. What a fucking poser.
Diva.
This is an act. Everything he's saying is an act.
Devonte Adams, who, if traded yesterday.
No, they can't afford to do it.
No, you're right. They can't.
Devonte Adams, this is what, and what's the, like, I saw Rich Eisen, I saw RG3, I saw Albert Breer, I saw all these guys say, oh man, what a bummer for Devonte. Like,
I don't blame him for being frustrated.
He wanted this. He went to an organization that is unstable as it is with Derek Carr, who he had to know was not going to be the Raiders quarterback forever. This is what he wanted.
Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer.
Close to home. If you want to go close to home, you go home. You don't go to Vegas. If you want to go to California, there's 5 teams in California. Find a way to go to one of them.
Football season's 18 weeks. You get the rest of the year to go home. It's not like Major League Baseball where you have to live in Milwaukee for 6 months of the summer.
Yeah.
Football season's so short. So I'm with you. And what a waste. And what an absolute waste of his talent. What a waste of what could have been in Green Bay with the next generation.
But he wanted this. And I still, honestly, and the nuance doesn't come through, like it never does.
I know.
But I honestly blame Aaron Rodgers.
No.
And really, I blame The Last Dance. So really, I blame COVID. And really, I blame Michael Jordan. Because what Aaron Rodgers did was romanticize the idea of asking for a trade. They put The Last Dance together. Rodgers is like, hey, I'm out of here. And Devontae's like, fuck yeah, I'm out of here too. And this is like their last year together. It's senior year.
Yep.
And then Devontae leaves, and then Rodgers fucking comes back for school another year.
Mm-hmm.
He like Rodgers fucked this up. This is a real take.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tweet about it because I'm fucking, I don't know what's going on, but ever since I decided not to buy a blue check mark, all my tweets are bangers. Every one of my tweets is like maximum fucking exposure. I'm getting more engagement than I ever have.
That's because you rip Rodgers. That's free engagement.
But I'm not getting paid for it. I'm tired of being on this platform. And it's X now. Journalists, they don't even say X, formerly known as Twitter. They just say posted on X. It's fucking X now. My wife's phone still has the bird because she doesn't do automatic updates. And I go, I bet you could sell your phone and get like, because remember when they took Angry Birds off the App Store? People were selling phones that had Angry Birds on it because you couldn't download it anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, I blame Rodgers for Devontae. That's 100%. That 100% I do.
I do not.
He took advantage of a young man. The age difference between them is pretty similar to Rami and his girlfriend. Just like Rami's taking advantage of her and her naive ability, Rodgers took advantage of Devontae.
Did you stop yourself from saying naivete because you thought you'd sound pretentious? Is that what that was?
No, I couldn't. I didn't know the suffix to naive.
Oh, I don't co-sign your Rodgers take, just for everyone listening. But I appreciate the entertainment value. I get a kick out of it. And
wait. So what about the take though, which I agree with? Do you not see as reality?
Why is it Rodgers? That's not Rodgers' fault.
They Instagram together The Last Dance. That's calculated move. Rodgers wanted out and he wanted a buddy.
They definitely romanticized the idea of let's go out and win this Super Bowl together. It'll be our last year. It'll be glorious. We'll both sail off into the sunset on different teams.
And then they lost to Jimmy G.
Yes, they did. But the orchestration, who orchestrated that idea? Rodgers is the orchestrator of all things Rodgers. He's never playing the second fiddle in a storyline. So
Devonte Adams left because he wasn't sure of the quarterback situation in Green Bay. So he had to look after himself.
Okay, maybe. And certainly partially that's true. But now live with your health.
Incredible lack of foresight by him. If you look at the several bad quarterbacks that have thrown him a pass since.
Yes, correct. But we didn't know what Jordan Love was going to be. I don't know what Devonte Adams would look like. I partially think that Devonte Adams, like sometimes when there's a young quarterback or a not great quarterback, they just like, oh, there's like Will Levis is like, oh, there's Hopkins. I'm going to force feed him the ball. So it might have worked out, and maybe Adams would have got production in Green Bay anyways. But Aaron Rodgers wasn't the one that started the exit plan of the Packers. The Packers did that when they drafted Jordan Love.
And but they gave Rodgers, but after doing that, they gave Rodgers the mega extension.
Sure. But that doesn't mean that he's going to be in town forever. That just means they're rewarding him for his good play, and they're doing their best to, satisfy him when he's in town. I'm not saying the Packers chased Adams out of town. That's not what they did. I'm saying that Adams left because of quarterback uncertainty, and the Packers played a massive role in that by taking Jordan Love.
All right.
I have a question.
Okay.
What is the correct number of receptions that Devonte Adams needs where he's still happy after a loss?
6.
I think he would rather have 8 receptions and lose than 7 receptions and win.
That's a good beat reporter question. That'd be a kick-ass beat.
How would you ask that?
Well, I don't know. Devonte Adams
asked that without that player never talking to you again.
Adams has said, I didn't just come here to win. I came here to, what did he say? Win the right way or play the right way? I can't remember what he said.
So Devonte, what would be like the
how many catches do you need? Like, how many catches do you need to be satisfied with your production and a win?
You're not getting an answer.
Or even, hey, Devonte, first of all, I think you underestimate. I think I could be a pretty good beat reporter. I think I could.
Ask the question. I'm here. If you can find a way to ask that question, I'd love to hear it.
I'd say, Devonte, this team isn't winning right now. You guys have a lot of question marks, a lot of things you're working through, but you have talked many times about wanting to continue to build your legacy and build your resume for potentially a Hall of Fame gig one year. So if this team isn't going to win, what does your production need to look like to keep you on that track and to keep you satisfied while this team rebuilds or while you wait to go somewhere else? That's what I would ask him.
If you think he's going to give you a numerical answer of like, well, Grant, good question I'd say about 8 catches a game.
Yeah, it's more of a spiritual question. I don't know if there's a literal answer. Yeah. I think it's, but also you ask these questions because this is something that he said. He's brought this up in the past.
Yeah.
Right. It's not always, and Paul, this, you're a beat reporter. I'm completely speaking out of my ass right now. It's not always about getting the answer. It's about presenting the question and getting a response. Who knows? Who knows what that answer would be? I don't know.
Yeah. This was not planned. The Jair Alexander postgame interview. You're out on Jair. If you weren't already, are you out on Jair?
I've been out much longer than this.
Grant?
I mean, what does out mean? They're not getting rid of him.
I don't want him on the team. Get him out of here.
You're out on him as like, I don't know.
He
I don't
talks
know
too much.
Your out can mean whatever you want it to mean, but like
The thing is,
terrible look.
This team is young. They're the youngest team in football, but I think Brian Gutekunst smartly kept a couple of veterans in key spots to try to keep things stable. And Bakhtiari got hurt and Jones got hurt for a while, and the offense lost all stability. But the defense is supposed to be the unit that could keep the train on the tracks. And Jair is a part of that. He's making a bunch of money. He's been here just about as long as anyone other than like Kenny Clark, I think.
Yeah.
And to get cooked is one thing, although that was really disappointing. Because I thought in that matchup, it's like, hey, if you do your job against Jordan Addison, this defense has a shot to really make this Vikings offense one-dimensional, and the Packers might have a shot at home. It's one thing to get cooked, although it was disappointing. It's another to be really immature in a locker room that needs you to be mature. Like, you're the adult in the room.
But if you're going to, I mean, and I don't say this disrespectfully, but like, you bring in Jair to be a playful spirit, to be, like, if you're going to count on Jair to be like, the calm, cool, collected adult in the room, you're counting on the wrong guy to do the thing that he's not built to do.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're. I don't know.
He's a playful. He's a playful character. Like if he's just.
If you're gonna act like you're the best cornerback in the league, you got to be the best cornerback in the league.
Well, that the play. I agree with the play part of it for sure. Like, he needs to play much better.
You can act like there's people at offices that can get away with a lot of shit because they produce and sell and you need those people on the team and so it's like not everyone's held to the same standard. So if you're gonna strut around and act like I'm the fucking best, then be the fucking best.
Yep. Agree. Real last quick Packers one because I want to do a Craig Counsell topic. Grant, you're my Rashawn Gary guy. In a lost season, this is a fantastic deal to get Gary back at this number.
Yes.
Or mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Because I think people's worry with Gary is that he's not Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons. But with this contract, they're not paying him like that.
That's right.
So I think this contract is great. However, and I was thinking about this last night, we have all these players. They're like, what's the ink blot? A Rorschach test. Right. You know what I'm talking about? We have all these, like Chris Middleton is, I think, the most famous one, where it's like half of the fan base thinks they stink and the other half of the fan base watches the same thing, thinks they're awesome. We have lots of players like this. And I'm always on the side of, no, they're good. Like they're good because of this, that, and the other thing. Like I'm always on that. And I got to say, it's kind of fun to be on the other side of one of these. Like I'm having a good time. Like, I don't know. But the contract is great. I think it matches his standing in the league. He came back from an ACL injury and looks like a rock star, tackled it well. There's no lingering effects from the injury, so I give him all the credit in the world. This is a great deal. If it was, 30 plus a year, this isn't going to reach 30 million per year at any point in this contract. This is a great deal for the Packers.
They are paying Jair to be the top corner in the league. He is not. Thankfully, they are not paying Rashawn Gary to be one of the 4 best edge rushers in the league. And by the way, as more guys get paid over the next year or two at the edge, he'll go from the 5th biggest contract to the 6th, to the 7th, to the 8th. So he's probably, if he can perform like a top 5 to 10 edge rusher over the course of the next 4 years, which I think he will. Bart, any thoughts on the Rashawn Gary extension? In a lost season, fantastic deal.
Now is not the time to be letting your Rashawn Garys leave. You need to lock them up and keep them.
Not trying to create more.
I do think that I thought Rashawn Gary would be better at this point of his career than he is.
Sure.
I understand he's coming off of injury.
Yeah. What is this? He's only in year 5. Give him time.
I can't tell if you're sarcastic now, Grant, because of your previous Rashawn Gary takes.